Okay, so today, make your own competition, don't participate in others. And before I begin, I'm going to exemplify the rule of if your competition is the art of doing something for someone else, for example, cooking, if you wish to become a chef, then I would say ignore this because this will lead you down the wrong path of being a chef, obviously, because you're attempting to, like, in a more scientific term, you're attempting to produce the most dopamine out of as many people as possible. So in that case, you do need other people's opinions, and that would better your chef experience, right? So, besides that, or other things like that, make your own competition, right? What I mean by this is when you're trying to better yourself, you should do something along the lines of creating your own manual. And creating your own manual requires you to do a extensive amount of trial and error to see what works for you specifically. And I mean, obviously, minus the general tips that you can get for something like, for example, sprinting. Like earlier, I was just like kind of like a run. I was like doing some like kind of like HIIT workouts, if you know what that is. High intensity interval training. Kind of like I was working on my form really. I would sprint a little bit, and then I'd rest a bit, sprint a bit, rest a bit. Did that a few times, just try to adjust my form a bit to get at least a little bit better. So what I realized was that general tips do work for something like what I was doing, increasing your form, or you know what I mean. But what I also realized, like right after I came back in, is that you can't go off of someone else's sprinting expectations and then set them as your own form expectations, because biologically we are different people, and different people require different things in order to get faster. It's a simple equation, right? Like maybe one person has really, really long legs, so they don't need as much force exertion out of their calf or their like leg when they strike as they run in order to create more force, because they got really long legs, so their stride is much longer. Or for someone like me who has shorter legs, you have to intensify and speeden up the striding process in order for you to go faster than the person who could do this, you know? I mean, I can't really, hold on, let me it's like this compared to this, right? Does that make sense? So, in that sense, don't participate in others' competitions, because when you do so, you often worsen your own condition, and on the off chance you do get a better condition, you won't get much satisfaction out of it or a reward, right? Because it wasn't ever really yours. It never wasn't really yours. And with that, you get the sense of thinking that you are becoming a better person. Like, oh yeah, I see all these results. But at the end of the day, your mind is still trapped back here, because the you back here never got brought along with it. Right. So in essence, you could say it was the soul, or like that thing, right? That's what I'm talking about. So stop participating with others. You gain no real satisfaction. I thought it was pretty simply explained. But the reason why, which often you really see it today, like people's depression rates and stuff is like really high. Wait, I didn't have that. It's like really high. Well, like exponential curve. But you gain no real satisfaction because you are not in the competition. This is like you were forced entry, right? You were forced into entering a competition because everyone said it was good to do it, but not you, right? So why would you go through the effort to put yourself into a competition that you never wanted to enter in the first place? Like, okay. So I guess one of the main lessons is don't try to mold yourself into someone else that facades your abilities, right? So that way, because obviously people are better at different things than others, so you're gonna have to not only learn and or acknowledge that fact in the first place, you'll have to be aware that some people do and don't embody that, and you can often see the effects. Like, a really great example of this, of stop participating with others, you gain no real satisfaction, is like smoking or vaping, right? When you go to smoke, vape, etc., you are joining in competition with others to achieve the maximum amount of pleasure humanly possible, right? Like through chemicals and shit in your brain. So when you do this, you enter this competition, which you never really want to anyways, but your friends or whoever always like, oh, you should try it, oh, you should, do XYZ. In reality, you never even wanted to do it in the first place, right? And then you're 300 meters in. Just make an example, right? 300 meters in, it's you and 4 other guys in different lanes, right? The one who achieves the maximum amount of pleasure is in the front. And then you got your couple other ones next to him, and you got the one guy maybe speeding up a little bit, the one guy slowing down, and you're last. You're last. Now, do you want to be last in this pleasure race, or would you rather be first in the race of your own creation? Right? You know the rules better than anybody else. You know how to exploit it better than anybody else. And you know how to win it better than anybody else. That is your competition. That is making your own competition. The only struggle is making people allure and come into your competition. That's where you gain the reward, right? Sounds evil, which in some cases it is, right? Like vaping, right? Or smoking. Everyone joins the pleasure race, and who's at the top? Smoking companies. They make it, ship it out to the sellers, distribute it to the stores, and they get it to you. Then you buy it, you go out, smoke it, you run out, and then 9 out of 10 times, go buy it again. And again. Maybe one more time. Ooh. Oh, they got peach flavor. See? So, a really evil competition, in general, is really the consumer competition. That is where you will always be at a loss. You will never win the consumer competition because the consumer always needs more. They always take. They do not give. They do not budge. They always need more. But then, this leads me on to my last point I have here. Make your goals. Don't decide which is yours. Make your goals. Make your competition, right? Every competition has to have a goal. Goal is usually to win. It can't be something else, right? Like, don't limit yourself to, I have to make a competition where I have to win, because that's just not true. What is true is that don't decide which competitions are yours. Don't decide, I'll go in this one, I'll go in that one. No. You have to make your own. Okay? Make your own competition. Make the goal. Get the goal faster than anybody else. Allure competition. Allure players. That's the basis of every video game. The basis of every smoking company. Consumer company. If you're a consumer, the consumers don't win. The creators win. The people that create the puzzles, the people that create the cigarettes, the people that create the value win. Because they don't have to participate in that competition. Or don't have to, right? They are not forcing themselves into their own competition that they made. Like, you don't have to be in your own competition. That's what people don't realize. And I figured I want to make this in case this might help one of you and determine how you can use your own values or ideas to emphasize some strength of yours in particular, and then give that out to others, and hopefully they can learn from this. So, make your own competition. Do not participate in others that force you in them. Goodbye.